Yeah. What is going on, beautiful people? And welcome back to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe of Fight Podcast. I'm your host, Serg VICENTE, and we have another great show for you guys today. Today, man, you know what time it is, man. It's Friday. We have our fight roundtable, and today, man, we have a fun show. We have a bunch of some of my boys coming on, and first and foremost, we're bringing on one of, if not, like I said, the best strength coaches in the entire country. This brother and I go way back, all the way back to the days of them young burning sands. Who else? None other than my brother from another DB. Brother, what it do? Welcome to the Fight Podcast.
What's going on, y'all?
Man, we out here, brother. We out here. Always a pleasure to have you on, my brother. How's it holding down over there in Chicago?
It's a little chilly, but it's good. Man. We living, making better athletes by the day, and keeping afloat. You know how it goes.
Man, dude, don't we? All right, man. And also on this episode, we have the guru, the boxing guru. He another one of the brothers who dons actually the black and old gold. Why not? We got to bring my man's on, the guru, Camm, bro. Welcome to the pod.
Yes, sir. Happy to be back, Serg. How y'all doing today?
It's good. You know what I realized? I feel like it seems like I only fuck with alphas, man. This is. I guess it's just kind of the way we get down. Hey, and nobody says that. Everybody's like, yeah, that's about right. That works.
It just is what it is.
That's about correct. Yeah.
That's what it is. Well, gentlemen, welcome to the show, man. So much to get to. There's been so much news going on, man. Before we get to that, what's been new with you guys, man? How's everything going? Brandon, man, what it do, bro?
Everything's good here in DC. Getting prepared for the MAGA Man March.
Ooh, man. Boy, you better stay your ass inside.
Yeah, I'm chilling
right now.
I'm chilling at the crib. I just don't see people just in DC just beating the black people. Like, if I want to go out, I'm gonna go out. I ain't about to bother nobody. I think they had a right to protest just like we do. But if I need to go somewhere, I ain't about to go any way.
Look at this man. He ain't never scared. DB, I ain't gonna stunt. If I was in fucking DC, I wouldn't be going no fucking where. I'm just letting y'all know I'll be sitting my ass at the fucking crib.
DC was 90.
I'm not going nowhere.
Right?
I know they come from DC voted 93% Biden. Like it's a heavy Democrat area. And I know they're supposed to be coming in from all over, but like people are still going to be living their lives. Like people aren't going to stop living their lives for the MAGA Man March. Like if y'all want to do that, go ahead. But like niggas got life to live.
I look, man. Hey, speaking like a true brother who just hit 30. All right, that's what you hold down. Gentlemen, real quick, just speaking of that, let's touch on it, man. It's not even an elephant in the room. It is what it is. Trumpito, Agent Orange, your boy's trying to steal the election. He's not conceding. I mean, look,
I don't think he meant to do that.
What happened? No, not at all.
Not sure.
What happened, bro?
I fucking I exited myself. I exited myself off my own stream. That's never a good look.
What they're having out there in LA is they're having earthquakes.
Am I back? Y'all see me all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Y'all hear me all good?
Yeah,
my bad.
Man.
Look, the moment I start talking about Trump, my shit fucking cleans out. But hey man, what are y'all thoughts on this nigga not taking this L the right? What do you guys think about this? DB, man, I'm gonna start with you, brother. How you feel about this?
Shit. Anybody doesn't like to lose. Come on, man. What's kind of crazy is, and I'm talking to a lot of people. With me being from Iowa, I can understand why some people voted for Trump, especially in Iowa. Like he gave so much money to the farmers back there to make sure they're good. And then like ignorant ass people around here in Chicago, young black men, they voted for Trump too.
It's just crazy.
So when you should, well, it's super crazy, but like young black men are like, man, he gave me a stimulus check, and it's like, you just not educated.
Yeah, right.
Simple as that. And a lot of people like rocked with him. Like I was in the gym, you know me in the gym, we get real confrontational in here, and I was like, man,
Absolutely.
half of y'all was rapping about Trump 5 years ago. Like, don't fake the front now. Like, y'all was talking about I want Trump money. Oh, he's gonna turn the economy around and all that good stuff. So yeah, like, a lot of people painted the picture, and he won the first time for a reason. Like, he definitely had his feelings like he was going to win, and he still has that feelings that he won.
That shit's wild. It's wild, man. And you know what, man? You hit a good point.
Nuts.
And I think it's something that's crazy is seeing so many black men essentially vote for Buddy, especially these young dudes, man, the young goofballs. Brandon, man, what are your thoughts on seeing our people and some of these rappers go out there? You got the Lil Waynes of the world. You got 50 Cent going out there. And like, look, I can't stunt. When they did that, I was irritated, but I guess I understood. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
So when we look at the different classes of people, you know, at the higher income levels, let's call it. I mean, I think those people are just very, very, very disconnected. And it's unfortunate, you know, maybe they thought they was cool with Trump before, so that carries over. But I just think they're very, very disconnected from their own community and the people that large in part are part of their audience. At the lower end of it, I think it's to your point, straight ignorance. But I mean, my bigger issue is the fact that we're not having a peaceful transfer of power. Like, you know,
That's
I don't
crazy.
sit here and stand the flag or anything, but we are in America. And so for us to not have a peaceful transfer of power, and that doesn't make sense. The American people voted and you lost. It's cool. Like, and I mean, you can scream bloody murder all day, but you're only screaming bloody murder for yourself. You're not saying, okay, well, systematically, there's an issue that we need to fix. You're just saying that, hey, I was cheated. Like, only you were cheated, only you had fraudulent votes. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You lost, take your loss, let there be a peaceful transfer of power so that the company can move forward from a dark 4 years.
Man, hold that L and leave us be. I can't wait till Buddy gets his ass out there. I can't lie. If they actually do kick him out, like drag him out kicking and screaming, I'll be very happy. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point. But I'm not
or hopefully it does.
Or hopefully it does. Let them know.
I'd be okay with watching that.
No, I would
go ahead,
definitely
bro.
be okay with watching that because I'd be definitely okay with watching that because it feels that chapter of the clown and the buffoonery we have for 4 years. To be kicking and screaming just really caps all the 4 years of the bullshit that we dealt with,
That's true.
and the laughing side of the United States. Like, I was out in Australia last year and met with the CEO of Audi and Foot Locker in Australia. He was like, yo, you guys are a laughing stock of the world, but we're not far from it. But it's just you guys voted in a reality superstar.
The damn shame.
And I was like, God damn. So it would cap it off. It would just make the final chapter of that clown, it would just make it even better.
Yeah. Look, like I said, I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah, it would make sense, and I think a lot of people would be worried about. Like I said, you got the MAGA men march down there this week, and you know he got them already talking about standing by and doing all kind of other bullshit. So there is that component of it that I think, again, it's not about being afraid, but we definitely have to really start being aware, especially if you look at the moves that Buddy's been making, you know, who he's firing, who he's hiring, you know, little shit like that. I think, you know, motherfuckers got to start paying attention to because it seems like, look, yeah, it's funny, it's a joke, but at the end of the day, man, my man is a baby dictator, and that's what the fuck he want to get down with. You know what I'm saying? So interesting stuff, man. I had to get your guys' points of view on it. But let's go ahead and move on to some shit that I think we all want to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about some fights. And I want to start here, okay, with this one. And we got to talk about these young bulls, okay? We saw Devin Haney this past week. We've seen Tank Davis. All of us, the three of us, I've talked to all of us about this, man. And I want to get your guys on the record talking about it. You got Tank. We got Teofimo. We got Devin Haney. We got Ryan Garcia. We got Shakur Stevenson. All those boys fight between 135 and 140. Eventually, they're all going to collide. My question to you, gentlemen, is this. At this point in time, who's the best of the best? B, I'm going to start with you, bro. What you got? I know we've discussed this a little bit, but Anything changed your mindset? Anything changed your direction, man? Because we can go down the list. I mean, we can break down some stats. What is your thoughts on this?
Hey, bro, we spoke on Monday. There has been no fight since Monday. So I think Monday my rankings were Tiafimo. I believe I put Shakur Stevenson second, Tank third, Haney fourth, and Ryan Garcia last. And that's just due to mainly their level of opposition thus far. All these fighters are still obviously undefeated. So all we can look at is their resume thus far. And I think, honestly, Shakur Stevenson has a pretty decent resume that he doesn't get enough credit for. And he was there before a lot of these young boys really got popular. Teofimo Lopez, he has a win over Lomachenko. That's not going to be disputed by anybody. He definitely deserves to be at the top of that list. Tank with an impressive performance against Leo Santa Cruz, Haney against Gamboa, whatever that was, even though it was a good performance, but just against a guy who was a shell of himself, clearly. And Ryan Garcia, we'll see if they can make the card, if they can make the fight happen on December 19th, that'd be amazing. But obviously, when Ryan Garcia fights, if he just like you said earlier this week, if he plows through Luke Campbell, then those rankings can change very quickly. But right now, that's where I stand. And I don't think there's going to be much debate on that. Just the level of opposition hasn't been there.
DB, who you got? What's your ranking of the guys?
I'm with you on the same fact of it. Before this last weekend, I was saying Haney is in front of Tank because I didn't think Tank boxing skill wise he doesn't impress me. He's a miniature Mike Tyson to me.
Right.
But he really didn't impress me at all.
Hey DB, hold up for 1 second, brother. You sound like you're a transformer all of a sudden. Hold up for a second. Yeah, you're starting to go in and out. Do me a favor. Go ahead and close out of it and close back. Maybe it'll clear back up because all of a sudden, like, you start freezing up and everything. All right. We're gonna get DB back in a second, man. What? Are you back? Oh, there you go. Yeah, we're gonna get him back in a hot second. But okay, my thoughts on this is this, and this is what I kind of want to get to do because I went back and I started looking at these guys again, right? And again, my lineup is still essentially the same, but I'm starting to change it up with this. And I want to get your ideas with this one also. Because I'm thinking again, look, we got DB coming back. Nope, not yet. All right, so I want to get you long term, okay? And we didn't really get into this as much. But long term, who do you think has the most upside? Let's go with that route.
I think the most upside would probably be Tank.
Okay.
I think
No.
Actually, no.
Hey, hold on for 1 second, bro. DB, you hear me?
We can't hear you.
Oh, we can't hear you. What happened? Well, we gonna get him. We gonna get it rocking in a second. But go ahead, Brandon. Continue.
So I'm changing that. I was saying Tank. I'll say it's between, for me, Tank and Ryan Garcia. And so the reason
I just got you back.
The reason I'm saying that is because of the size of their followings and their knockout ability. Knockouts, they make combat sports. When knockouts go viral, whether it's Tank knocking out Leo Santa Cruz, whether it's Israel Adesanya knocking out Paulo Costa.
We're going to talk about that man too today.
That's what's most important when it comes to combat sports. That's what people want to see. So Ryan Garcia and Tank, of the bunch, they have the largest followings. I think I checked Tank's Instagram a little bit earlier this week. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 million followers. That he had, but he has a shit ton of followers, and they were talking about who's the A side between himself and Tiafimo. Tiafimo doesn't even have 400,000 followers on Instagram yet, which, I mean, that's not every
the A side, but it truly does.
That's not everything, but it does show popularity and the likelihood of people to follow you. So I think when you talk about people that have the most upside of making these huge events, being the face of boxing, you talk about the guys with the biggest followings and the most knockout power, and that's why I would say between Tank and Ryan Garcia at the moment, they have the biggest upside in the sport. Obviously, Tank has a ton of issues out the ring. He would have to get a lot of that stuff together. But Ryan Garcia, I mean, he doesn't have those issues outside the ring. He just has to deliver for us. And if he delivers, I think both those guys can become major leaders in the sport and lead the sport into the future.
Okay. No, I love that. Damn, I was about to ask the DB the same question. Hopefully he'll be back in a hot second. But what I do want to ask, I'll say is this: I feel you, and I think if I take my fan hat off, you know what I'm saying?
I know you don't fuck with. I know you don't fuck with Tank.
I don't fuck with Tank. I don't. DB, let me ask you this before I answer this one, man. What I was asking is that all those guys that I think all of us have the same ranking as of right now. Like the three of us have the exact same ranking system of it. But who do you think at this point in time has the most upside of all of them? Like long-term upside, who do you think is that guy of those five? Cool.
Yeah, to me it just has to be Ryan Garcia.
I'm with you. I think you might be right. I really do. Just because if he has the skills, right? If Ryan Garcia can actually have the skills to back it up, he has Canelo Alvarez. He has, the Mexican fan base. He has that built-in fan base. Not only that, he's an IG sweetheart. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys. If he'll be the new Golden Boy. He'll be the new De La Hoya. He'll be the biggest draw in boxing. I think if that does it. Yo, Derek, what you think about this one, man? All of us have the same lineup in terms of ranking wise. Who do you think out of all of them has the most upside? I think Brandon and I agreed that I think the most upside, if he has actually the skills to pay the bills, I think I have to give it to Ryan Garcia because he got the built-in Mexican fan base. He a pretty boy. He already got women that like him. He got he already got like 3 million IG followers or some shit.
No, it's way more than that.
It's way more than how much he's, because I know Tank is at what, 2? You said Ryan is what, way surpassed that. So that's why I think
I'll ask our stat checker.
All right. DB, who you think, man?
No, I totally agree with you guys. And he has the flash and the pizzazz of things.
7.5 million followers.
Garcia does?
Ryan Garcia. That's what I was saying. Like he had, and even Tank, who's fought on pay-per-view, has maybe like what, 2.4.
That's insane.
Well, granted,
crazy,
I will say this.
I'm kind of baffled by that.
We're a little bit older. Being in the millions isn't as impressive as it used to be.
I can see that. I hear you. But DB, continue with what you were saying with that one.
No, like as much as I want to go elsewhere, is on the upside of things. Yes, I definitely love what Teofimo has done. Like I think skill wise, as well as from the United States, I hate his dad with a passion.
With a passion. I
can't stand his mouth and any of stuff. But his son backs everything up that his dad talks, man. And it's fun. It's really fun. Tank, you know how I feel about Tank. Like
I'm not a Tank fan either, man.
See skill. No, and he beat up my client, man. Like I'm mad about it. Like he beat up my homegirl. That's my client. Like you beat up a girl, bro. Like,
wait. That's one of the clients?
I understand. Yes, man. That's her baby mama, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a co-drive with her, bro. As much as I want to be a huge fan, and yes, we're in combat sports, and you guys have mental issues when you're in combat sports. And girls push buttons, and she's crazy as hell. She's definitely nuts. Aria is nuts, but like you still put your hands on a chick, bro.
That's just weak. That's super weak.
But he does got Thor's hammer at the end of his hand. But are we going to talk about him like we talked about Wilder 2 years from now? That's my question with Tank.
Well, I'm gonna say this. The reason why I picked Ryan Garcia and I picked Tank is kind of up there in that bunch. I talked about their followings, but these guys are all at the 130, 135 weight divisions right now. They're all lightweights. Smaller guys don't necessarily get attention in boxing. Now, Tank and Teofimo, I think they'll definitely go to 140. Not necessarily sure if they'll make that 7-pound jump to 147. I absolutely think guys like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney will make that jump to 147. And the bigger they get, especially going to the glamour division of boxing, which is going to be the welterweight division, it has been for the last 20 to 30 years. mean, it's they just have more marketability.
Yeah. Look, the only reason I am gonna say this, and it's not that I'm changing but I'll say my B. I'm gonna go with, even though I think the most skillful of the bunch is probably Shakur Stevenson, I'm gonna go with Devin Haney because we Brandon and I talked about it. Yo, people were pissy about his last fight, but his last fight looked like Money Mayweather, like vintage Money Mayweather. It was beautiful to watch. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't as aggressive as we wanted. If he had more, and I think the older he gets because of the way people are talking about him, if he gets more of that Terrence Crawford dog in him, where he's trying to take your head off at the same time, because he has the skill set to do that. If he can develop that, Devin Haney takes over on everybody because he's going to end up beating everybody.
I think like Floyd Mayweather, in order for Devin Haney to reach the star power that I absolutely think he's capable of, and to reach the star power that aligns with his skills in the ring, he's going to have to get into, I'm going to make you hate me.
Yeah.
Like
and remember though, he's only 21. He's the youngest one. He's 21 years old.
But without the power, he got to go heel. If he turns heel, he'll be a megastar.
He's gonna be a megastar.
But,
megastar.
And it's unfortunate that people have to do that.
We also didn't really touch on it. We didn't touch on it that Tank has a backing of Mayweather too.
True.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Like,
That's honestly, I think the only reason he's as popular as he is.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah.
It's a reason nonetheless. I mean, you associate yourself with Mayweather. Oscar associates himself with Ryan. Now, Ryan Garcia is a little bit more responsible for his own following, but you're absolutely right. That Floyd Mayweather rub has done wonders for Tank's following.
Boy. That blessing is there is no blessing in boxing like a Floyd Mayweather blessing. If you have that blessing, it's a wrap. You're good, and that's why he's a pay-per-view star. He's literally gotten in his own way, putting his hands on women, can't fucking make weight, fighting bums, all this stuff. And because of the rub, he still has essentially the culture and the community. So I'm curious to see what happens with him. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, because since you did mention DAZN and you mentioned Oscar De La Hoya and those boys, this is crazy. So, as we know, last week, Canelo Alvarez won his lawsuit. He is out from DAZN. He is out of Golden Boy. But his fight with his one-offs, they say is going to be against Caleb Smith, who is a monster. But he is doing it in association and partnership with Matchroom Boxing, and it will appear on DAZN. What are your thoughts on this? On Canelo literally leaving DAZN just to jump his ass right back in there and fight for DAZN.
I don't mind it at all. I think this was the fight that they were targeting the entire time. And, Callum Smith was the best opponent available once the BJS fight fell through. So I think Canelo, when he made the decision to, I'm going to release myself from these contracts and go independent, I don't think he had beef with DAZN, but DAZN not wanting to live up to that contract. But if they're going to pay him what he's contractually obligated for a fight against Callum Smith, then Canelo knows, bro, he's going to go where the money is. That's a good fight for him. And I think
what you think? What you think, bro?
I agree. Contracts are contracts, man. Contracts are contracts. Just like in the NBA, everybody's gonna run to the money. Like Fred VanVleet came out and said it this week. Like, man, I need money now. And Canelo right now, that's the only thing that's missing is money. Like, it's not like he's obligated to fight anybody that he hasn't mown through yet.
Right.
So, and you know how the DAZN gets down. Like it's funky all the time. It's always super funky with their contracts. We talked about the Jessica contract.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to ask you about that. Yes, crazy.
She lost. She lost, and which card got paid double what she got.
Well, you say she for the listeners. Who are you talking about?
It was unbelievable. Pardon me?
Go ahead, Brandon. Ask him again.
No, I was just saying, you said she for the listeners. Who exactly are you speaking about?
Uh-oh. DB, can you hear me? All right, so real quick, we get that real quick. For the listeners, we're talking about Jessica McCaskill. There we go. There you go. You're back. Can you hear me now? It's all good.
Yeah,
Hey,
what's going on?
Okay, so we were saying for the listeners, who is she that you're talking about, right? Or just so people know who we're talking about that you work for, because you're talking about Jessica McCaskill. You're talking about her.
Jessica McCaskill's. Yeah, Jessica McCaskill's last fight. Ooh,
Okay.
shit.
And she went out there and beat Celia Brinkus, who's one of the quote unquote greatest women of all time. And so Cecilia got paid double what she got paid?
Why wouldn't she?
Double. She was double.
Why wouldn't
double
she?
What? Yeah.
Why wouldn't she?
Huh?
Why wouldn't she get paid double?
Well, because and the reason I don't think she got paid double because you're talking about somebody who, I mean, she also in terms of it talks about Jessica. I mean, she's also a world champion though. It's not like she came in with no belts, and it's also like she has multiple titles at this point in time and defended it. So it's not like it's like someone who's just stepping up. And popularity wise, Jessica has more popularity
as well as she came up to her weight class as well.
I think as of right now, in terms of popularity, that is.
I think the popularity is a bit debatable because Cecilia Brækhus has been undisputed at that division for so long. At this point, she's one of the few established names in women's boxing. So that's like saying just because Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, they're going to change the pay rate for the fight.
I hear what you said. I said in terms of momentum at the time. That's what I was saying.
Got you. But that was my point to DB. I mean, I just think like those were the contractually agreed rates. So just because she won the fight, I don't see them being able to change that after the fight. There are a few fights every now and then where, they might play with a little bit of the middle part of that. You do 40-40 with the winner take that middle 20%, but that's super rare in boxing. People want their cash. Business is business. And that's why the Canelo fight wasn't able to come together with Caleb Plant, because they didn't think they could pull together that magnitude of pay-per-view that quickly. Now, the issue, what I'm thinking about with this fight being on the zone, obviously they don't have a pay-per-view to put together. They could put together a really big card with them potentially scheduling Ryan Garcia on that. But if any of you guys have seen Callum Smith fight, he is fucking huge. He's 6'3". He is huge. And I don't know if he's been in training camp or what. Is he going to be able to get down to 168 by December 19th? Maybe, but maybe not. He's not like, his body type is not the same as a Caleb Plant, who stays probably like 10, 15 pounds above fight weight at all times.
Yeah, he's always in shape. Caleb Plant stay in shape. Yo, I can't stunt. Let me ask you guys this. What fight would you have rather seen? Would you have rather seen Caleb Smith or Caleb Plant? DB, what you think first?
I was pushing for the Caleb Plant fight. Just because at the time Canelo was rolling through everybody. So I'm waiting for the next person to stop him,
Yeah. I would have loved to see that fight. Like, don't get it twisted. I think that Smith is dope. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got a 7-inch height advantage on Canelo, which I'm interested to see what that would look like. He can crack. He's undefeated. But dude, I am a big Caleb Plant fan, and I think that stylistically he would give Canelo fucking fits. So for me, that's the only reason I know personally I would have preferred that fight. Brandon, you about to say something?
Well, let's look at what Callum Smith offers in terms of a matchup. Number one, Callum Smith versus Caleb Plant. Callum Smith has the much bigger win over George Groves. Let's not forget that he won that World Series of Boxing Championship, I believe, for his division. For I guess that's the super middleweight division. He won that. That's a huge win. Canelo wants to be an international superstar, so he has the market over there in the UK. And Canelo has already beat his younger brother, knocked him out. So there you have a storyline. So while Caleb Plant to us, like here in the US, seems like the more logical and the better matchup, and probably skill-wise, a lot of us would probably favor Caleb Plant over Callum Smith. But Callum Smith brings a ton to the table, and George Groves was no pushover of fighter. That's a huge knockout on his resume.
Yeah, dude was super dope. I think either way it's going to be a good fight for Canelo. I'm happy that Canelo is going to get back in there in December. And I don't know if you guys heard this, they're trying to get that the rescheduled fight with Ryan Garcia on that card also. So that would be the co-headliner, which would be dope. That'd be a dope ass card if that happens. So That's what's up. Any last thoughts on Canelo, guys?
I more so just the Ryan Garcia edition. I think that would drive a ton of streams for the zone. I would love to see that.
That'd be amazing. If you put the Ryan Garcia and Canelo on the same card, that should be great. All right, let's change gears slightly. Let's talk about, because we do have to break down the fight for this weekend. That's the big Terrence Crawford Kell Brook fight this weekend. But let's have a little fun. It seems like Israel, the last Airbender, Adesanya, is going to get a title shot at 205. But Dana White just came out and said that he might end up giving it to Glover Teixeira instead. Do you think it's necessary? DB, I'm going to start with you. For Adesanya and Jones fight to be for a title shot? Or can it be like a BMF belt or something?
Man, that's a tough that's a real tough question, man. With all the heat that's going around right now, with all that John and all that stuff, saying he's the greatest and all that stuff.
We're gonna talk about that too. Don't get it twisted. We have that lined up today.
Give me a championship, because I want to see it. There's two monsters going after it. Why not? You have to put a championship on it. Let's do that.
I hear you. What you
let's
got,
put
Brandon?
a championship on it.
I think there will be some type of belt involved, because I do think I would imagine Dana White's going to end up going with Israel Adesanya for that fight. He tends to always side with the money, and that's the money fight, given that he's building towards a fight with John Jones. Now, on the other side of it, I think that there comes a point in time in combat sports where you just have superstars that are just bigger than titles. And I just don't think it matters. I think Adesanya and John Jones are both bigger than titles. People understand who they are, how good they are, and they don't really need a title on the line to build the event. Like, if you throw that event with a title and without a title, do you think it matters in terms of how many buys? Like, that's not going to affect the number of buys. It's not going to affect the quality of the fight. It just is what it is. I think those two guys are bigger than titles.
Do you think so? Let me ask you guys this, because here's the thing. For me, does that fight need to be for a title? No, it doesn't need to be for a title. Does it sweeten the pot? It makes it probably the biggest fight in UFC history. If you have Adesanya coming up with an opportunity to be a champ and being the first person has an opportunity to go ahead and defeat John Jones. Because me personally, I think you have to give Adesanya Blachowicz, you have him beat Blachowicz, you have John Jones go up and fight Stipe. You have him possibly beat Stipe. If he does that, you have for International Fight Week, July 2021, you have at Raiders Stadium, I don't give a damn if ain't nobody in that bitch, you have the heavyweight champion versus the champ coming up to fight. That's what I think should fucking happen.
I think. Should it happen? Absolutely. Those are the best guys.
That's what I think they're gonna do. I really think that will be that. That's the way. There's no other way to do it. Give him the opportunity. Let John go up there. They know that John can beat Stipe old ass. He was getting broke off by DC old chunky butt. You know what I'm saying? Like they know he can go ahead and win that belt. Now they need to keep him as far away from Francis Ngannou as possible. They need to keep that motherfucker way away from Francis' big ass, because he might knock his face completely off. But I think that's the way to go. And that's how you make it the biggest fight, not just MMA history. If they do that, and they have both of them have belts, it sweetens the pot. It is the biggest fight in combat sports history.
That's a reach. That's aggressive. I get it. It's a hot take. You can have that. I don't mind it at all, but I do not think by a long shot that's the biggest fight in combat sports history in terms of an event. Now, obviously, we still have to see if the event delivers or not, but you can't possibly tell me that's bigger than Maypac.
I'm telling you, they're going
Lewis.
To stack the card. They're going to have it will be a ridiculous ass Super Bowl fucking card.
But how do you determine what's like?
Go ahead, DB. Go ahead, DB.
That's also a hell of a timeline, bro. For is Jones disciplined enough to make it that far, man? Like,
I
there's
mean,
a
look,
lot
knowing
of time.
Jones, his ass might not
That's
fight.
a year and a half to 2 years.
No, just it's a year for it's a
Man,
not
like,
even. It's eight months. It's eight to 12 months.
When you say the biggest event in combat sports history,
And
how are you
a lot of
defining
things have to go correct.
I'm talking about pay-per-view wise. It'll be the biggest event in pay-per-view. It'll be the biggest event. And the reason I say that is this. It's going to be the biggest on pay-per-view because we still going to be locked down. And they're going to start pumping that fight up because here's the thing. And that's that they're talking about in the UFC. They're bringing back the Ultimate Fighter. They might have John Jones versus Adesanya as the coaches on that. They're discussing that right now.
Jesus.
Dog, they're building this shit.
I personally don't think there's anyone
Because
else.
you're a boxing dude, okay? If I say anything MMA is better, your ass ain't gonna go for it. I got time.
No, I just don't. I see that event selling a shit ton. I mean, it's going to be an amazing card. I'm not denying that at all. But you talk about selling more than Maypac. I mean, boxing stars are built.
Let's say this: if they have that card, right, and you put also. It's their big event. It's their Super Bowl event. You also throw a McGregor in that bitch. Fuck it. Let's throw a little McGregor in there. Throw a little bit of name some shit. You put me in there. If you put the two of them, we selling everything. Ain't nobody. You could put any Joe Blow out there after that in that shit. But they're gonna stack that fucking card. Put somebody like you put like Zabit versus the Mexican kid, Rodriguez. You put him those two in there on that fight card. You stack the deck. You put all the big names on there, which the UFC always does. If they do this, it will be, and you have it coming off of the Ultimate Fighter where they've been talking shit, fuck you for the last 6 months, and they're going to do it on ESPN, mind you. They're bringing it back on ESPN. The Ultimate Fighter, they're bringing back on ESPN. Adesanya, John Jones. They would pub it and they will push it to be the biggest fight ever because guess what? We're still inside. And we're still going to be inside.
What is the biggest event that the UFC has done in terms of pay-per-view buys? The UFC.
Conor McGregor had, I believe, 5 million. It was like a 5 million, 5 or 4 million something. I don't know. It's around there. I mean, it's not 200 million buys like fucking. Okay, I'm not like fucking.
Come on, S.
It's not 200 million buys.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Maypac didn't sell 200 million buys. I think they were up around like 5.7 or 6. It says Conor McGregor and Donald Cerrone, it's 2 million. It says reaches 2 million pay-per-view buys. I mean, I don't know. Conor versus Khabib, it looks like that was 2.4. But Mayweather Pacquiao.
I know you're riding with boxing. We get it, Brandon. We get it.
I'm just saying more so. I'm not even trying to ride with boxing. I just know it's hard for pay-per-views to sell like they used to. So I think if we were in the earlier 2000s, like we'd be having a different story. But I mean, Maypac was 5 years ago. Pay-per-views, they just don't sell it. But I mean, UFC has been able to sell some amazing pay-per-views over the past year. I'm not going to totally write it off. I just don't see that. I think that's a real heavy hot take.
It's my take, and I'm sticking with it. Any last thoughts on this one, DB?
No, I'm good. It's always great talking about that. Yeah. Hey, Serg, you're the best GM in the world, bro. You need to be a GM of the football team, basketball team, something. Make you a G. Make you. Because what you just thought in your mind, man, that's definitely a long burning bowl of some good to make something up like that, man. I would never think of something like this right now.
Hey, man. Hey, when you sit here and watch this shit as long as I do, and you smoke as much weed as I do, you go down rabbit holes.
Man, that's
all right,
a
gentlemen.
rabbit hole we just ran down, man.
Man, my bad. It happens to the best of us, man. All right, check it out. Speaking of going down rabbit holes, John Jones, Deontay Wilder.
Jesus.
Both of these gentlemen have talent out of this world, but have throughout history been kind of wilding out. And let me just go. I had to write this down. I had to write this down for you guys because I didn't want to miss anything. John Jones, the reasons for disappointment, and this one I'm going to end up putting it out there. Who is the bigger disappointment? And let me write down the reasons. Let me count the ways. Gentlemen, who should I start with? Should I start with John or should I start with Wilder?
John.
Let's go. Okay, so multiple PEDs. He's been arrested multiple times. He's been suspended because of those PEDs multiple times. He just admitted that he hid under a ring for hours in order to stop people from finding him taking PEDs. He also has a much Twitter drama. Anytime anybody does anything well, he decides to stick his 2 cents in. And last but certainly not least, this GOAT debate, not allowing Khabib to have his moment in the sun. And now he is arguing with anybody who would listen to him that he is the greatest. Oh, and how am I supposed to forget? Let's not forget also him going full fucking Terminator and chasing some dude out of his garage with a shotgun and some Timbs. I can't make this shit up.
That's not necessarily negative.
That was kind of nuts. Next one we got. Let's go.
No,
ahead,
that last one's not negative.
You pull it to the crib.
The same thing. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do it, man. But all right, so okay, we got to ask this one. Deontay Wilder, not taking an L like a fucking champ, having hella yes men around him, firing the only guy with any experience in his corner, and blaming his loss on everything, including tainted water, and not excluding his suit was too heavy. Gentlemen, the two of these dudes are guys that I think we all believe are extremely talented. Yo, Brandon, I'm going to start with you this time. Who is the bigger disappointment?
I was fully prepared to come here and speak about how, in my opinion, Wilder's a bigger disappointment. Because why? I'm the boxing guy. I care more about boxing. I care more about Deontay Wilder. I'm a big fan of his. So personally, this hurts me. This hurts my heart. But after hearing you run off that list, I mean, John Jones he's a fucking dickhead. While Deontay Wilder, he's salty about a loss. Like, that's wrong. He shouldn't be. But it's like, you can understand how and why somebody would be salty about a loss. John Jones is out here just walling. And you add in the PED test. I mean, hitting pregnant women. It just, John Jones is way more of a disappointment than Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder lost a fight and he's salty about it. But John Jones, you fucking suck, dog. Sorry.
DB, who you got?
Oh, that was good. No, man, I'm in the same boat. I get so frustrated when people try to take the shine from someone else. Like, that's frustrating. But I think this is the first time I heard about him hiding underneath the ring while using PEDs. What the fuck?
Oh, bro, dude.
Like,
yo, this is so crazy.
They're both kind of clownish, but I feel like Wilder is because he's from the backwaters or nowhere, and he has a bunch of yes men around him, and people just didn't stop him and tell him, like, listen, this is the way to do it. This is the way not to do it. Hey, you took an L. This is what we need to go back to the board. John Jones, like B said, he's a fucking dickhead. Like, and it's crazy because, like, two of his brothers are professional athletes too.
Dog.
That makes it even worse. Like, his brother
without any of those issues.
Like, none
without
of
any
those
of those
issues.
None of them.
But you're the one that you're the only one in the family that at the highest peak, the most decorative out of all of us, and you're the fucking biggest dickhead. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I can't be like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass. No, because you're gonna fucking kill me. Like, come on, man. You hit pregnant women and you hung out underneath. You hung out underneath the damn ring to do PD. Man. I never heard that until today, and that blows my mind.
They said that John Jones, and he
He
admitted
said.
this. He admitted this. He ended up for over 6 hours. He had multiple bottles of piss under there. He had to stay there for multiple hours so that the PED people would leave. They said he stood under there for up to 6 hours under a cage so he would not get found out. He said at first, he's like, yo, it's because I was high also and I was paranoid. The rest of us know is because you was on the Mexican supplements, my guy.
John Jones.
Because you had 6 bottles of hot piss. And I'm not talking about warm piss, hot piss, my man.
Hot. Yeah, and pulsing, as he says. Remember, he has the pulsing pisses.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, there.
Yeah.
We all agree on that.
A car with that piss, my man.
It's straight battery acid. That shit is, man, that dude. But look, we all agree, John Jones. I'm with you guys. Deontay Wilder, I'm disappointed in him because, bro, if you're a champion, you got to take your L's like a man. It is what it is. We all lose. You look like Donald Trump, a jackass. Like, take this L, get better, and move forward. But when you look at, like, man, John Jones got a 12-year run of being a fuckboy. And when you have a 12-year run of being a piece of shit, you got to be the bigger disappointment. Because here's the thing. Think about this. If John Jones was more like, think about if John Jones acted like Demetrius Johnson. Could you imagine if he had that personality? Or he had the personality of an Adesanya. Or he sucks. I can't stand that dude. So that's him. Real quick, let's talk about one other guy that I really don't like before we talk about this amazing card that we have this weekend. Yo, it's official. Well, it's not totally official. Conor hasn't signed yet. He hasn't signed yet, but he's verbally agreed. Dustin is already signed. It's going to be Dustin versus Conor 2 in January. Gentlemen, who do y'all believe is going to win this fight?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll go first because I just don't have as much context. I wasn't really following MMA too closely the first time this fight came around, and I am not super familiar with Dustin Poirier. So, given the fact that Conor has already beat him, I know in speaking to Serg, he's gotten a lot better, but I'm still going to go with Conor by knockout at that.
Oh, okay. DB, who you got?
As much as I want to say, yeah, Conor is going to do it. I want Dustin come back and actually to give it some run and really go after him a bit. But Conor hands are still kind of scary for Dustin. I don't, man. As much, you know how it goes. Anything can happen in that ring, but Conor's not gonna mix it up too much with him. He ain't no fool. I think he's going to stick to the same situation that he had before. Knockout, it would be good to talk about if Conor knocks him out. But no, I want Dustin to get after him a little bit, but I don't think so.
Ooh, look, man, I've gone back and forth about this. I think everybody kind of understands how I feel about Conor McTwitter, and because of that. I'll say this. I think Conor is great. As much shit as I talk about him, I want everybody to understand that I do believe that he's one of the best talents that we have ever seen in our sport, okay? I will absolutely admit to that. But I will also say this. Dustin Poirier going to fuck him up. He's going to whoop his ass. That fight happened 7 years ago. That fight happened at 145 pounds. Dustin Poirier was too small for that, or too big for that weight class. That was his last fight at that weight class. Since then, he has fought more than double the fights that Conor McGregor has fought in that same time period. He's captured that same belt that Conor McGregor once had. Yes, it was interim variety, but fuck it, he still did it. And he fought. He fought against Khabib just as well as Conor did. Stylistically, he can take shots. Remember, He knocked out and took everything Justin Gaethje had to fucking offer. Justin Gaethje hit that dude with everything but the kitchen sink. And Dustin walked through fire and knocked him out cold. I'm talking about cold. Lay it out, smelling sauce cold, okay? That is what Dustin Poirier did. I think Dustin Poirier, if he could withstand the first 2 minutes of that fight, he is going to take Conor McGregor to the deep waters and just like Khabib said, and drown him. I am going with fucking Dustin Poirier, Lafayette, Louisiana's very own. That's how I'm rocking with it.
And I trust your opinion. I'm giving my little casual take, but if somebody would ask me, I'd tell them, listen to Serge. Don't listen to me.
Hey, I be fucking up too. Hey, all right.
Players fuck up.
Man.
I mean, when you're recording live, you gotta take the L's. Like shit, we ain't always gonna be right.
Man, hey yo, I can't stunt. Every time I be getting about my text messages be flooding. Damn, Serge, I thought you had. Yeah, I got it. I know. Yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry. But when I'm right, crickets. Don't nobody tell me shit. All right. Crickets, boy. And I be right a lot. This is bullshit. All right, let's move on. Last but certainly not least, gentlemen, I appreciate your guys' time so much. This is always fun. Love having you guys on. But this weekend, the biggest fight of the weekend, by the way, salute to Bellator. They have had a bunch of duds this year, but they came out with a motherfucking fire card. I think I sent y'all last night, the two of you guys last night, Aaron Pico's knockout. Holy but Jesus. That man sent him to fucking he Thanos his ass. That shit was crazy. That was an amazing knockout, but the entire
was there a huge build to that fight? Because he was talking wild shit after. Like I was like, was there like a big build up? Was there a lot of tension? Like, cause he couldn't stop.
Dude was talking shit in the lobby in front of his lady. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was in there in the lobby talking shit, ice grilling buddy and shit. And he was like, dude, I'm in front of my lady, bro. Why was he doing that? Like, that was unnecessary. So he apologized afterwards and everything, but he was like, dude was a dick. So it is what it is. But the card was great. Salute to Bellator. I need y'all to come up with better cards. Their Grand Prix that they have right now, 145. Patricio Pitbull, who won, is incredible. If you guys don't know him, you need to go check him out. All right, but the fighting this weekend is arguably the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. I don't believe so, but a lot of people do. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Terrence Bud Crawford is fighting against the former IBF champion in Kell Brook. This is going to be a good fight card, man. I think a lot of people are counting Kell Brook out, and the reason I'm bringing that up, this is what I want to ask you guys both. Brandon, I want to start with you since you're the guru. Yo, this right now, the odds makers have Kell Brook, or should I say Terrence Crawford, as a minus 1,700 favorite. 1,700 favorite. Do you think they're not showing Kell Brook enough respect?
We just don't know what's left of Kell Brook at this point. And because we don't know what's left of him, even though his last loss was Errol Spence Jr., I think he didn't
He's
look...
on a 3-fight win streak.
I don't think he looked amazing in the Michael Zarifa fight. That's a guy he probably should have gotten out of there, but he took him 12. Mark DeLuca, he got him out of there in 7, but I don't know if he's looked as amazing as he has in the past. And granted, like you said, he's on a 3-fight win streak. He was the only guy willing to go up and fight Triple G. Then comes after the Triple G fight where he got his face broken, comes down back to 147, which was a tough cut for him, and fights Errol Spence.
And got his face broken.
And he got his face broken again. But he's also beaten Sean Porter. He's been in there with the best. And in both of those fights, while his face physically he couldn't take it, he was beating up Triple G. He got to Errol Spence a couple times. He was definitely holding his own. If his face didn't get broken, I think he would have lost the decision, but I don't think he would have gotten knocked out. So that being said, he's been there. He's been competitive in these big fights, and ain't no more face to break. Like he got 2 plates on the side of his face. My man is Kano pulling up to the fight. Like I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, and he said it. I listened to him an interview. They said, "Hey, are you worried about your face holding up?" He said, "I'm kind of like the Terminator at this point." Like, so I mean, I think the odds makers, that's a bit aggressive. At 1,700, he is a legitimate welterweight. If this is the guy, and they talk about 2014 Sean Porter, if this is the guy that stepped in the ring against Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford's going to have his hands full on Saturday night. And that's of the storylines that could play out. But what we expect Kell Brook to be a shell of himself, and we expect it to look like it looked against Amir Khan. But in reality, we don't know if Kell Brook is a shell of himself because, I mean, he's only 34 years old. I mean, if we say the end of your prime,
for a young man, I know.
If we say the end of your prime is what, maybe 32, 33, the end of your physical prime, then Kell Brook, he's not 38.
He's right there. All right, DB, what you got? You think 1700 is a little aggressive?
No, that's very aggressive to me. I really seeing a lot of these fights coming out of we're living a pandemic. A lot of guys locking down and really taking a lot of focus to their body. And I'm not saying any other time they're not, but I feel like this allows a better timeline to be able to do so. I think I'm not saying Crawford's going to just walk Brooks, and I hope Brook goes the distance with them because this is kind of the setup that they're trying to make for Crawford and Errol Spence. I feel like it is, but you know that's some time. That's a timeline as well as Errol Spence has to get through his next fight.
Yeah, and he got and Errol Spence has a tough fucking fight coming up too. I mean, okay, so real quick with this one, this is crazy. I mean, if it was like he was like a minus 500 favorite, I'd get it, right? Like, okay, I get it a little bit, but in terms of having him being like a minus 1700, like you guys,
$1,700. That's $1,700 to win 100. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. That is crazy because here's the thing: Kell Brook is legit. He's legit as fuck, man.
That's disrespect.
That's mad disrespect. And you think he doesn't think that either? He knows it. You should hear him talking. He's like, this dude has a new trainer. He has a new strength and conditioning program. He has rededicated himself to his body. He said his mind wasn't right in his last times out. And he was like, and I am on a 3-fight winning streak. He did say, he's like, I am 34 years old. And at the end of the day, he's like, I'm here to shock the fucking world. If he is, like you guys said, a fraction of who he was when he fought Spence the first time or when he fought Sean Porter, yo, dog, people don't talk enough about this. Terrence Crawford has a whole bunch of nada on his resume. Nothing. He has nobody that we really respect. So if you have somebody that has a legitimate championship pedigree, and if he can revert back to the form that he was just a couple of years ago, and like you said, he's a young man. Those little changes when you're 34 years old, bro, could make a huge difference. I'm not saying that Terrence Crawford's going to lose. I think he'll win this fight. But if he is to lose one, this is one of those ones coming off of a pandemic, unknowns, people count this dude out. This is one of those perfect storm type of ones that if you're going to pick an upset, this might be the one.
Speaking of body, have you seen the pictures of Kell Brook?
He looks crazy right now.
He's ripped. And I'm not sure. I mean, shit, I'm straight. Like, I ain't got to pause. I'm just, the man is ripped. I'm here at the Combat Sports Podcast. Niggas is fighting naked. So, like, I mean.
Facts. What are you looking at naked? Yeah, that's facts.
Like, the man, he's ripped. He's shredded right now, but it looks all muscle. Shape. So, is he going to make 147? Is he going to be weight drained? That's a storyline that can play out as well. Because Kell Brook hasn't.
Didn't he already make weight today? Is that later on?
Did he? I thought today was Thursday. Sorry.
Nigga, he made weight today.
My bad.
That fight's on. We go with that shit.
I'm literally doing this in the middle of my workday. I'm literally doing this in the middle of my workday.
I appreciate you, man. Always appreciate you, man. Yo, so what did you guys think? So, okay, that fight. Let me ask you guys this. How do you guys both believe it's going to go down? DB, I'm going to start with you. Fight pick time.
I want to go at the distance. I want to see a great fight. I think Crawford could finish it 8 rounds.
Ooh, that's a good one. Camm, what you got?
Yeah, I'm around there with that. I think a late finish. I think honestly, I think it could look a lot like the Mean Machine fight, where we see Brook get to Crawford a little bit early. I mean, Crawford did unofficially get dropped in that fight, so I mean, I think we could see Brook get to him a little bit earlier. But I think long term, we see Crawford makes some adjustments and start to wear him down. But at the same time, Brook is not chinny. Like he's been knocked down, it's all been because of his eye when they've gotten broken. But he's not a chinny fighter. He can take a punch and he can damn sure give a punch. So I'm going to go with DB here. I'm going to say late knockout, but there's literally endless possibilities for this fight just because we just don't know what we're getting with Kell Brook. We don't know what we're getting with Amir Khan. So, it could be the other end of the spectrum this time around.
Oh, man, I really want to pick Kell Brook. I really fucking want
to. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it.
Like, but everybody be thinking I'd be hating on Terrence Crawford because I can't lie. I told you guys. I think I might have told both of you guys. I've been watching a lot of Terrence Crawford, and one night, it was a couple nights ago, my lady was hanging out with some buddies of hers, and I was here by myself, so I rolled a blunt, and I sat back, and I just started to watch Terrence Crawford fights. And I don't know if it was the combination of the weed and just the the mood that I had. The loneliness and the mood lighting that I had at the damn crib. I don't know what it was, but yo, that nigga's nice. That nigga's nice, bro. You watch him, you almost forget. Like, yo, Terrence Crawford is nice.
Bro, his movements are so fluid. His punch placement is crazy.
Dog, yo, it honestly, and it's funny. It damn near looks like a boxing's version of Adesanya. He literally slides in and out a very similar way. It's crazy. When I'm watching it, I'm like, oh shit. Like, what have I been watching? Like, yo, Terrence Crawford's a motherfucker, but it's because he hasn't fought anybody. So this fight for me is going to tell me a lot. If he goes out here and blows through Kell Brook, well then, brother, now you have my attention.
Does he though? Because Kell Brook is supposed to get blown through. He's a $1,700.
I believe in Kell Brook. I don't care what the odds makers say. I think Kell Brook is a legit badass. Like, fuck those guys.
I mean, you fight Triple G and Errol Spence back to back. Like,
those are his only losses.
I don't think anyone has had a 2-fight resume as impressive as that in the last 15 years. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot to be said about Kell Brook, but like you said, there's a shit ton to be said about Terrence Crawford as well. And I think, like yourself, I tend to sound like a Terrence Crawford hater as well. But we only sound like we're hating on Terrence Crawford for the same reasons that Terrence Crawford hates his promoter, Top Rank. And he's leaked a bunch of that. They've leaked a lot of that in the last couple of days. Some interviews he's done where he spoke about exactly how unhappy he is with his promoter. But we're not. It's not a Terrence Crawford thing. It's just he hasn't fought the level of opposition for so long. You can't be sitting there with people ranking you number one pound. It's the fans that fucked it up. Because if they didn't rank him number one pound for pound, I'd probably be a little bit more lenient. But I mean, he's just sitting up there with that ranking. He's not getting the fights.
That's why I can't give it to him. I can't. That's the only reason I can't give it to him. And I think that is the only reason why I kind of shit on him. So I'll say that. All right, before we get you guys out of here, one thing I didn't write down. Also this weekend, UFC, we got former champion Rafael dos Anjos. And the only reason I bring this up because Paul Felder was supposed to be calling this fight. Okay? He was supposed to be behind the desk. Islam Makhachev pulls out 5 days ago. This man takes the damn fight. He was supposed to be calling the fight. He is now main eventing a 5-round main event against a former champion RDA on 5 days notice. Oh, and he just made weight this morning. Badass. I just want to give a salute to Paul Felder for doing that.
Wow.
Grown ass man.
I also I
wanted you guys to have something to bring up. This is y'all time to shine. Since you were going to talk about that real quick, Brandon, the floor is yours, my brother.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say this weekend, make sure you watch the undercard of Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook. So the undercard, ESPN, as you know, they did the Top Rank series earlier in the summer. One of the more notable fights was Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney, which did end up in an upset in which Joshua Franco took Andrew Maloney's title. They ran it right back. This is for the WBA super flyweight title. That was what I would probably consider a fight of the year candidate. I expect it to go no differently the second time around. So that's something I definitely want to make sure that the viewers, the listeners, they watch out for. Don't just tune in for the main event. Make sure you watch that co-main, Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. That's it for me, Serg.
Nice. All right. DB, anything you got, man? It's your time, brother. What it do?
Man, I'm going to go completely a different route with things. Man, free agency for the NBA is the 20th, and then the draft is the 18th. You already hear about it buzzing right now. Russ wants up out of Houston. Drew Holiday may end up in Atlanta Hawks uniform, and the Bulls may be pushing for the number 2 overall pick. And then one of my athletes is looking at being drafted into the first round, early second round. Paul Reed, kid from Orlando, played here at DePaul, averaged 19 and 10 last year in the Big East. So NBA's quickly approaching. As much as I hate it, it's going to start for Christmas. I hate it so much for the athletes of the NBA. It's going to burn these guys out. But it also is going to give a chance for some of these teams that are struggling to be able to catch somebody on the chin.
That's true, dude. I love the NBA. I think that's the only other sport really aside from like fights that I watch. But this is too damn soon, man. Like that like couple like a month and a half turnaround essentially these guys have. That's some bullshit, bro. Like I can't stand it.
But you can't miss out on $650 million on one day, brother.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. Oof.
Numbers.
It's always
numbers matter.
Always about the money. It's always about the dollar.
Christmas Day. Christmas revenue $650 million one day, and that's 5 to 7 games. And you can have some nasty setups. You can have the return of KD versus Steph and the return of Clay. Would be dope to see. You could see Lakers and Heat. You could see Zion versus Memphis. There's all types of ways the NBA can switch it and turn it, but we got to think about these superstars and these athletes with the turnaround. Like money is definitely everything, but I was thinking more pushing for All-Star break to come back during the All-Star break.
Oh, dude, I would have been great. I wish it was like All-Star break. That would have been a perfect time, like mid-February for that shit to start. Oh, it'd have been awesome. And then I like basketball throughout like the summer. I think it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah, but Christmas and try to get 72 games in, you're nuts.
Nuts. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Well, we'll see how it happens, man. I can't wait for it. Yo, real quick, did the Bulls get that number 2 pick?
If they get number 2 pick, that can make a lot of things happen. It's me. It's like me playing GM, just like you were playing GM earlier. If I could be the GM for the Bulls and get the number 2 pick, I'm trading Zach LaVine away.
Oh, wait, what you mean? You wait, that top, what is it? That top 25 player in the NBA you talking about?
Don't start. That's gonna be a whole different other argument, bro. Don't start. You know I can't stand that dude. You know I hate it.
Oh man, Brandon, my bad, bro. I know you.
Things in the gym. There's certain athletes that are allowed to work out at pro, and we're saying Zach LaVine's not allowed to work out pro. His skin ain't thick enough to be in here.
No, yeah, you gotta be. You're a different breed if you're a pro. Yeah, I don't think young Zach's one of them. But all right, gentlemen, look, man, I love it. Yo, that's what we got. Yo, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the episode today, man. A lot of fun. Really quick, gentlemen, where can they find you guys? B, what you got, bro? Where you at? Let them know.
Right down here, BCAM 13 with 2 M's.
DB Miyagi.
Both of y'all. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yo, I know you're on that little delay. It's all good.
My fault.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, DB.
DB Miyagi at Instagram and Pro Train at Instagram as well.
There it is.
BCAM 13 with 2 M's on Instagram and BCAM Thinks with 1 M on Twitter.
All right, and for me, as you guys know, man, you can find me at The Fight Podcast, at Serg VICENTE. Thank you guys, as always, for joining me on the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, The Fight Podcast. BCAM, DB, gentlemen, thank you so much, man. We got to do this again at some point soon. As for me, it's all the time we got for today. Peace out.